My name is Curtis.
Y'all do this right here.
Curtis Lamar Ruffin Jr. aka
All the men in America. Going through it, you feel me? Baby mama, what she doing with it? Don't even have a voice.
$252 a month plus $78 arrears, which is making it in total $330 a month.
Okay. And how old is your daughter?
My daughter's she's 12 years old. She'll be 13 November 6th.
And that was what you was originally ordered to pay from the beginning, or were you paying a different amount?
The amount that I was actually paying in the beginning, it was $516 a month. It was actually $491 plus $25 arrears, which made it $516 a month, and that was based off of a pay of $9.50 an hour. At that time, I actually had I had my own place in Hollywood, Florida, where my obligation was $825 a month. Of course, I was roommating at the time, and my baby mother, she was living with her mom. She was being paid $12 an hour, and so I don't know how they actually came up with that number. Ironically, when the adjustment was done for the $252, after several years, it took about 10 years for me to get the modification to go through. They adjusted it properly to $252 a month, when after 10 years I've been charged $491 plus 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And once the amount of child support was put in place, was visitation also put in place at the time?
Oh, not at all. There was no kind of discussion about visitation. Even when I asked at the time, the person that was doing the hearing officer, Michael Sullivan, out there in Broward County, Florida, he when I asked about the visitation, he said that would have to be a separate court date. He didn't speak anything about visitation, and it kind of put me with the obligation that they had me paying. It put me in a situation where I was unable to actually muster up the funds, because of course you still have to pay to get the visitation. I mean, to go back to court. So with that, of course, trying to pay rent off of $9.50 an hour, being charged $516 a month, which was impossible. I lost my job. I mean, well, I didn't lose. I lost my apartment. Couldn't fix my vehicle. Couldn't go to work because I actually worked almost an hour away. Went homeless. A lot of things took place.
Okay. And did you experience any job loss during the time you were making your child support payments?
Yes. As a matter of fact, when I lost my job because I couldn't fix my car due to my obligation. Lost my apartment, lost my job. Everything just kind of just fell apart from there. Was unable. They took my license due to me not being able to fulfill the full $516 a month, because initially I ended up having to stop. I couldn't really work over the table at that time, so I would just pay what I could. Would try to keep it at a minimum of about $200 a month. But they, like I say, my license was gone, so that made it even harder for me to actually get a job to support not only myself but my daughter. Of course, if I'm not able to support myself, how in the world am I going to support my daughter?
Okay, so you mentioned job loss. So how long from the time you were ordered child support did you lose your job? Did you lose your job right away, or?
No, I didn't lose it right away. It was within the period of months. The first, probably like the first 2 or 3 months that after my daughter was born is when I was put on the child support. Um, uh, Once I was put on child support, once again, 9.50 an hour, working between 35 to 40 hours a week, I might have brought $200 home, maybe. And with my rent and my electric and my car and of course wanting to eat every now and then, it was impossible for me to maintain that. Um, and it's just like I said, things just kind of fell apart. It wasn't a fair obligation that they gave me, and then I was never able to see my daughter.
And this all took place after you lost your job.
Correct.
Right. Okay. And what is the reason for this video?
The reason for the video is just to pretty much put out the it's just to put out the truth that that I mean, like, if they're saying that, I completely understand that every man or female needs to take responsibility of the fact that they have a child and to actually pay their due support towards the child. But for my case, Broward County, Florida, uh, to not punish people for having kids. Um, that's what it seems like. It seems like you have a child, they're punishing you with child support, um, and there's no way to fight it off. So this reason for the video is actually to bring attention to it, to actually get. Of course, I have to deal with my situation first. Hopefully, someone would someone that's ethical and reasonable and is really about the child will will attack this situation and will help me attack this situation to try to adjust these arrears. My arrears is over 32,000. At one time it was 42,000, but with me having to write letters to the state of Florida and also to Washington D.C., I did get it down, reduced $10,000. However, they're saying that I need to actually go to court to proceed head on with dealing with Broward County. But of course, to be able to successfully do that and get representation, I mean, there's only so much that I can actually do with dealing with the legal information. But I have to have funds to be able to get a lawyer. And with being child, being under this obligation, which the obligation that I'm currently under now, the 252, that's fine. But with the $78 arrears and with going towards the arrears of over $32,000, that's completely ridiculous. Like I have a settlement that I'm dealing with from a major accident that I had July 5th of 2016 that I'm unable to really proceed with because a lien has been put on for the settlement. So it's really ruined my life. I don't have my passport. I can't do anything, and my main thing is being able to take care of the necessities so I can do more for my child. But when you're I'm backed into a situation where I can barely take care of myself, so let alone if I'm able to even get my child to come and visit me, I can't do anything for her. And that's ridiculous because this child support is supposed to be about the child. If it's about the child, it's more than financially about the child. If we're co-parenting, both of our incomes are supposed to help build the child, also with visitation. So the right thing to do is stop victimizing one parent for having a child, and allow them to be in that child's life, especially if they want. It should always be an obligation whenever you're in child support for a parent to participate, or at least it should be an offer to put up saying, hey, what about visitation? Would you like visitation? or how would you like to work out visitation,
Okay.
instead of just throwing a parent a bill and making them suffer for it. And in my situation, which I know is millions of others is going through my situation, male and female, and leaving them in a situation where they can't even muster up the funds to go to court to fight to get visitation. And that's ridiculous, because it makes a person looks like a deadbeat parent when they want to actually be there. And it's ridiculous. It's a complete contradiction of what this is supposed to be for. And it's just not right.
Okay. So what is your message for the state of Florida, the Department of Child Support? Do you want to say anything to them? Is there a message you want to relay to them?
Yeah, the message I would like to relate to them is to be ethical and stop. I don't understand what is the issue, or why they feel this is a reasonable thing. But I want them to go ahead and do the right thing, adjust the arrears, um, back me up with getting my visitation for my child, because it's clearly that they dropped the ball in this situation. Um, because this is not just me crying out saying that I'm suffering. We're talking about a child that's suffering. Unfortunately, um, the 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 mother is, not being, without being, disrespectful to her in this manner, but is not being responsible enough to want to, co-parent properly with visitation. So, with all due respect, it should be, it shouldn't have to be a separate case when dealing with child support and visitation. That should be combined, since this is quote unquote all about the child. So I just want the state of Florida to go ahead and observe what's going on, realize that taking a person's license due to child support is not helping them, especially when they're overcharged, and really do things in an ethical manner. Um, Working two jobs, I've done that several times. It didn't really work out for me in that fact, because once again, I'm not. It's only so much I can do if I don't have a license. There's only so many places I can actually go to actually get the funds to compensate for my living, and also try to build something for my daughter to be able to visit for me, to visit me, or to be able to fight to get an attorney to come and help visit me. I've been in a situation where I've worked at Bojangles when they initially end up moving out of the state of Florida, um, to restart my life. And my child, so I mean, I was being paid $7.50. I sent a modification in two different occasions, and I got no response. It took 3 years for me to get a response, and that was only because the child support office in North Carolina saw that it was one put in, because I had copies of it, and they requested an answer, and it was denied. And with me being paid 5.16, me being paid $7.50 an hour, they still kept my bill 5.16 a month. That's not right, and that's not what this is for. That was punishment for me having a child, or that's how I perceive it, because that's not right. Like, it was obviously I was going through hardship. It's supposed to be adjusted to compensate for that. Um, the state of Florida, Broward County in that case, Michael Sullivan, particularly, was not about that child, or was not about the child, was completely vindictive, and you just, it wasn't being reasonable in the situation. It wasn't about a child. I don't know what the reason was, what the issue was, but I have all the documentation. I filed different documentation, showing, that my story is consistent with what actually happened. And I mean, here, my daughter's about to be 12 years old, and I've been fighting this for at least 10 years. and it's it still hasn't been resolved, and it's sad. She's getting ready to be 13 November 6th, so it's really rough. They make it where it seems like I mean, you like you're in the box, like there's no way you can go. They have you trapped. You can't get a lawyer that's willing to go against the state of Florida, due to how they have the system set up. Like you're almost blackmailing the lawyer, the attorney, for going against the state of Florida. So it's very hard to get representation. You can't get outside of representation due to their laws with attorneys. And it's ridiculous. It's like you just have to accept what they give you, and that's not what America's about. Florida is still a part of America. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's not what this is about. We scream about justice and ethics, but you have cities or states that completely, they use it as a facade to make it sound good, but they clearly don't follow it, and it's ridiculous. So I just want the right thing done. I want to be able to see my daughter, and be able to proceed with my life, live a healthy life. I lost my whole 20s to this fight. I'm 33 right now, and I refuse to go through my 30s with this, without putting up a harder battle. So that's why I'm doing this video.
Okay. Is there a closing message you would like to give to any fathers, or even mothers going through your same situation?
To never give up the fight. To realize that there's more to this, speaking and complaining about it. The only way you can actually get some kind of results, which I'm very thankful of the results that I've gotten, even though it took me years to mature to the level to articulate what I needed to do, by me going through this since I was 21, 22 years old. But understanding that you too all you have to do is just articulate it on paper and send the letter to the proper authorities. If that city that the child support was ordered in is not working for you, you send that not only just them, but to the governor. Not only to the governor, but to the DC. Bring attention to the matter, because speaking to your friends or your girlfriend or whatever is not going to resolve the issue. Complaining isn't going to resolve the issue. Doing something stupid is not going to resolve the issue. Put it on paper, send it to the proper authorities, and then you can go from there once they respond. Make sure that you have a certified letter when you're doing it that someone has to sign for it, because it'll ironically get missing and nobody will know what happened to it.
Okay.
I just want to say I love you, Saray Ruffin, and Daddy's still fighting for you.
Yeah, I do this right here. For all the men in there.